We just got back from the mall about a few hours, maybe an hour or two ago. It was a nice outing. And the weather, I think, is trying to break into fall early.
I'm welcoming it.
Yeah, I am too, because that heat wave was no joke. So I love fall temperatures. Like, I'm team fall, and I love the fashion, of course.
I'm ready
For,
for
yeah,
boots
boots and like the light jackets. Yeah,
and trendy sweatpants.
trendy sweatpants. Yeah, all of that. So, yeah, we're looking forward to it. And little Gizmo went out with us too. He enjoyed it too. His little outing. But yeah, as the title, that's what we're gonna get into tonight. I don't know if you guys remember a video we did a few months back about this topic, but it's just interesting because we've been getting a lot of comments on this video, and it's, some months old. And the comments, I'm just like, when you read them, I'm like, they were very triggered
And I
by the video.
mean, and it's all feedback.
Yeah,
And I would say at least that they were respectful when
right,
they did include their feedback. So it's appreciated.
right.
However, I think that it's also helped us to generate some more talking points on
Yeah.
this. And I mean, it's a freaking rabbit hole. You can go talk on this all day.
Yes. And I mean, like Chrissy said, they were respectful. And again, us, we're adults. We know some videos are going to be controversial. Some people may agree with what we had to say, and some people may not, as long as you keep it respectful. But from those recent comments, we could tell that it was a little triggering to them.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, so without further ado, we're going to get started. So if you guys, decide to check out the playback of this live, it's very much appreciated. And please share your thoughts and comments on this topic, and just as long as you're respectful. Okay, so the other day, like Christy and I were saying, the video that we talked about this with nerdy black men, saying black women don't like them and all sorts of stuff, that we did months ago. We got a comment last night, and it was like the person, it was like almost like 7 paragraphs, I think. It's pretty long, but Christy's going to read some of it, and we're just going to share our thoughts on it.
Yeah, 7 paragraphs.
7 paragraphs, okay.
Okay, so, and we're not going to read the whole thing in its entirety. We're just going to, speak on a few talking points that they had.
Right.
Because there's some things that are kind of, I would say that we have our own maybe opinions or views, perspectives on it.
Right.
So this is, let's see. Okay. And I'm gonna read the first couple of points, like the very first thing is, I mean, to their point, I can see some things that what they said I agree with, but some things I don't.
Right.
But let's see. Okay, so they said, I want to add my context and experience, so hopefully there's more clarity on the subject. I'm a black nerdy dude. Okay, nice to meet you, black nerdy dude. I never looked for the baddie types or women who were really out of my perceived league. I'm handsome enough to get compliments regularly. I've been told I land around a 7 or 8. Okay, good. And I also go to the gym and take care of my physique, but I'm short at 5'6", so I know that turns off for a lot of women, especially some black women. Now, I can agree with that.
Right.
In terms of, especially for black women and looking for a romantic partner, a lot of times, like, the taller dudes do get favored a little bit more. So I can agree with you on that, sir. Did you want to say something on that?
But I also want to say too, for everyone has their preference. If a woman prefers a taller guy, that's her, her right, her right. But then, just like some guys may say, oh, well, I don't like a full, a plus size woman.
Right.
I want my woman, thinner, but have a curves and a big booty and all that,
Right.
So
hence the reason why, it was trending for, like, women to get the BBL.
Right.
A lot of women were doing that. But you see men on the internet stating that they prefer a more natural figure.
Right.
They say that, but when you see all the comments and thirst comments, it's on the girls with the BBLs. And we all know it's fake. but they looking at it in a tight fitted dress, and they looking at
Right.
their badonkadonk, and they like, yeah, it's looking good.
Uh-huh.
So I don't know. It's like, you know, there's like some kind of incongruence between what people say and what they want and what they go for.
I just wanted to add that tidbit, but you
But
can
yeah,
continue.
but yeah. And I mean, there's no love lost here. There's no hate. But,
Right.
there's just some talking points that kind of helped, I would say, deepen this discussion.
Right.
It's an ongoing debate.
It's very deep.
Yes. Okay, so then the other thing he said, I'm not going to read the whole thing, but he said the black community as a whole has a very serious classism issue due to the very disturbing and foul history of oppression found on how white people treated black Americans. We've developed an identity that's very anti-white. Now I want to stop there. Um, I don't think that there is, as far as with like cultural, that there is an anti-white like sentiment. Now, I mean, there's Ray Ray. I mean, if people say like on YouTube, Ray Rayism. I think
Right.
that's like a triggering word to the platform does not like that
Right.
word, so that's why I say Ray Racism. But you know what I'm talking about. But I don't, I mean, of course, yes, there's that in every group of people. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? I would say like a favoring somewhat towards their own group of people and things like that. However, I would say as far as within the nerd and blurred spaces or blurred spaces, black nerd spaces, I don't think that there's an anti-white sentiment. If anything, I would say, especially like black people, we're very inclusive. Like there's a lot of conventions that are advertised as being black based, black owned,
Mm-hmm.
But if you look at the like footage of like the conventions when people go and they take video and everything, there's not just black people there. There's a lot of black people that go there with their non-black partners.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of black people that go there with their non-black friends. There's a
Mm-hmm.
lot of non-black vendors.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think it's anti-white.
I don't think so either.
The other thing too, is that I don't know why, whenever black people have some kind of confidence and some kind of unification, that it becomes a sentiment of being Rayism or anti other races.
Right.
I don't understand why there's a problem when black people decide to unify on something. Just like the same thing with, and I'm gonna say, the wealth distribution or the wealth transfer that's being discussed as far as with the
Right.
boycotting of Asian businesses. I mean, everybody, this is America, and that's the whole basis of this country. Why people all appeal to it or are attracted to it is because of capitalism. Everybody has a fair chance and a fair shot. People can open up businesses. People can spend their money with whomever they want to. But I say all that to say that with this community, there is a strong sense of just black people taking back some kind of pride in themselves.
Right.
With like black cosplayers, taking like everyday mundane cosplays that people would copy and paste,
Right.
and you see black cosplayers utilizing textured wigs. They may even just like blacken up and season up their cosplay.
My thing is, from that comment, why is it such an issue for black people to love themselves? Because
Exactly.
other communities like the Asian, the white community, the Latin X community, no one says anything to them, but it's like with the black community, it's like, oh well, you have to include everyone else. You get what I'm saying. It's like,
Yes.
why? Because I mean,
And we already do that.
and like the BET Awards,
Yeah.
it's so many things.
Like there's awards being given to people who don't identify as black, even with like black people like in cosplay
Mm-hmm.
for a very long time, and even like in our current time, there's a lot of discrimination faced by black cosplayers,
Yep.
black nerds,
Yep.
and black people, like we always do, we still manage to carve out a space for ourselves.
Right.
And the problem is that once we did that and we started taking pride in that, and it's kind of gone viral,
Mhm.
trending, because that's what we do. Black people, we create trends.
Yep.
Now it's an issue for
Right.
other people. They want to be included in that space.
Right.
You know, um, but at the same time, it's just like it's just another, I would say, example of just how black people, how resilient we are.
Mhm.
That regardless of whatever, insurmountable odds or challenges that we face, we still manage to we still manage to endure and
Mhm.
to take something or take nothing and make it into something.
Yes.
You know.
Mhm.
So yeah, I strongly disagree with that statement.
Me too. There's more.
All right,
There's more.
moving on, babies. All right.
Yeah, there was other things.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And this part here, and this is kind of in that same paragraph. But they said, I think that treatment has led to, okay, the continuous attempts to strip our identity has left us really identity insecure, which makes us as a community more tribalistic. I think that treatment has led to us to develop a very anti approach to anything that's higher class, because we've internalized higher class with white. I can agree with that.
Mhm.
And as a community, it's a reminder of our trauma. I say all of this to say that the community as a whole doesn't respond kindly to a black person who they deem participating in higher class behavior, or at least behavior that's not aligned with some things traditionally known as black. And I mean, yeah. And I would say that especially as far as like the Blerd
Mhm.
situation, to an extent, those of us, and it's no disrespect to anybody that's, recently come on aboard, welcome.
Mhm.
But those of us that have been here, yeah, initially that was kind of the sentiment. But now, once again, this is something that is considered trendy, and now everybody's here.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Um, okay. Or at least behavior that's not aligned with some things traditionally known as black. It's a way to reject any whiteness in the community as a form of self preservation, which is why the hood or hood adjacent aesthetic is the king in the community. So, I mean, I agree with some things, but then some things I don't. Um, because like once again, there is a there is some form of unity within the community, but then there's also some separation.
Mhm.
And as we were discussing too, yeah, to some extent, I would say yes, it is a reminder of trauma. However, I think black people, for one, we're very, very forgiving people,
We are.
and we're very resilient. And I would say that is like very evident in the fact that there are a lot of like interracial couples.
Mhm.
There are a lot of blended interracial families and things like that.
Mhm.
So, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, trauma. Everybody experiences trauma,
Right.
but it just depends on how what you do with that, that trauma after you've experienced that.
Right.
Um, but the other thing too, what I would say as well, is that there is some separation within the Blerd community.
Mhm.
A lot of it doing with all of the isms that Kendra and I we were talking about off
Yeah.
camera, like texturism, colorism,
Featurism.
featureism, and you know, and a lot of it has to do with internalized Ray-ism
Yeah.
within the community.
Mhm.
Um, and my sister and I, we wholeheartedly support all cosplayers. You know what I mean, and especially any of our darkly melanated brothers and sisters. We love y'all.
Mhm.
And we're all black at the end of the day.
Right.
But what Kendra and I notice is that within the community, there's not an equal amount of love shared among a lot of like the darker skinned cosplayers,
Mm-mm.
especially the females.
Yep.
Like the men, you'll see more dark skinned men, Now, for as far as the females, it's like the opposite.
Mm-hmm.
It's more of the lighter skinned, racially ambiguous, or mixed race cosplayers that are getting all of the shares, the followings, the ambassadorships, all of that stuff. Invites to conventions. I mean, you can pull up any convention, especially like the ones that are like black owned,
Mm-hmm.
and most of the guests that are there are going to be fair skinned, mixed race, loosely coiled hair. And if they are dark skinned women, they have the baddie aesthetic. You know, they have like the larger breasts, they have big booties, they have the body as T.
Yeah, they're doing like the adult content, like adult cosplay content. Or if they're not doing that type of content, they're already established,
Yeah,
with a
they have a larger
platform.
following.
Yes. And that's, what we noticed.
And, those kinds of things are not cool because, there's to that extent, there's a little bit of, um, manipulation, using
Mm-hmm.
people and things like that. But then at the same time, pushing out the darker skinned female cosplayers or blurs nerds, and you're not supporting them.
Yeah, when we were active on IG, it was plenty of times we would notice it, and I'm not gonna say any names, but it was a cosplayer that Christy and I know, and she's amazing. Like her cosplays, like she be doing cosplays that people don't even be thinking of doing,
Yeah.
and puts her own spin. Like she's really talented. And I remember she had did a cosplay, and I swear to you, maybe like 2 days after she posted her cosplay, mind you, she didn't even really get a lot of likes. Like they just did not support her like that. It
Mm-hmm.
was messed up. But she did this cosplay, and 2 days later, it was another girl who was Afro Latina that was lighter skinned. She did the same cosplay, and I'm not even trying to be funny, but I really think she looked at what the other girl did, the
And she
dark
was
skin,
inspired.
and copied. I'm just being for real,
Mm-hmm.
because nobody was ever going to even think about doing that cosplay, but she did it, and I swear to you, she got a crap ton of likes on her cosplay, and I'm just like, this is it. Yeah, some people be like, you tripping. Like, no, I see what's going on here. I see it.
And the other thing with this, I don't want to hear the cop out of the algorithm because I'm
Yeah,
like,
full of
okay, well,
crap.
how does she come across her cosplay
Mhm.
then to go and copy it?
Exactly.
See, people, they pick and choose what they want to support or who they want
Mm-hmm.
to support, and that's not cool.
It's not.
But at the same time, though, people want to be on there like, yeah, we're all blurs. We need to be unified and all this other stuff,
Hmm.
and we're in this together. No, a
No.
lot of people are in this for themselves,
Yep.
and they only want to mingle with those that they feel that they can benefit something
And
from.
that's the truth.
That's it. Or if they find them attractive.
Mm-hmm.
But outside of those things, they're not trying to lend a hand for nobody.
No.
Nope,
Nope.
not at all. Um, did you have anything else you wanted to add on that?
I can't really think, but there's more from the person's writing that else I know that we wanted to discuss though.
Yeah, I'm just skimming
Yeah,
through it real
she's
quick.
skimming through, guys.
Um,
Because it's long. Probably what I'll do, I'll screenshot it, all of that, and I'll post it to the community tab if you guys care to read, read it.
okay, so I'm pulling another piece out of here. We kind of briefly touched on this, but this is something I know that you and I were talking about, and you have some experiences that you'd like to discuss. But I'm skimming around, guys. But they said I think black women are generally protective of each other. Not always true, but I really don't think nerdy black women experience the type of treatment from the community that nerdy black men face. Disagree. At least on the same scale. And then they put when the thug killer is the community idol, being a Nintendo loving ninja, but you know what he said instead,
Right.
is the last thing you'd want to be. And I know you had some points that you would like
Okay.
to speak on regarding that.
Now, him saying that, he can't really because he's not a woman.
Mm-hmm.
But I got like people would say things about me being a nerd, but it wasn't to the level that some people face because me I would go toe to toe. Like I was nerdy, but it's like if you try me, then yeah, we're gonna be throwing some hands. But anyway, and they knew not to try. They knew not to try it. But I know when I was in middle school, one of my friends at the time, she was really into anime like me and manga and things like that, and she got picked on so bad. A lot of the black guys and some of the black girls, but it was mainly the black guys would laugh at her clothes, talk about her appearance, calling her ugly, just all types of mean things. And even when I was in college, it was a black girl that was she wasn't in my class, but I would see her passing, but she was in a gaming program, so she was like a, hardcore gamer. And she had walked out of the classroom that we were waiting to go get into, and her class had ended, so she was walking out, and it was a group of black guys that was, in my class waiting around. We were waiting for us to be able to go in. Well, when she comes out, they, I knew they was gonna say something, and then when she walked past, they started laughing and talking about her appearance, what she had on her body, and calling her ugly and things like that, joking like, well, would you talk to her? Would you date her? Just saying all types of mean stuff. And I'm just like, who the heck do they think they are? But yes, black women that were nerdy, and I'm sure if there was any black women in this live that are nerds, that especially they grew up in our era, millennials, because back then, like anime and gaming and comics and stuff wasn't as mainstream as it is now.
And it was very obscure
Yes.
to find any, like, especially if you wanted to find consecutive like shows, like especially like on the internet, didn't have like all these streaming apps to find these things. Like you had to like scour the internet. You had to wait weeks to get it.
Or back then when we was on there, like the tapes, we would go to Blockbuster, Sam Goody, and things like that to get it on tapes. And then like on the internet,
you couldn't get it in order.
Yeah, you couldn't get in order, or you have to, like the TV shows, if you had cable, you had to stay up late for it, or sometimes they wasn't showing it in order. And yeah, we remember them days. And then of course the websites and stuff like that, and then YouTube, and you watching different segments. And but back then it was, especially if you were a black nerd, um you were made fun of. Yes. And I'm sure if there was any black nerdy women in this live that grew up, that is a millennial, they would tell you. Now I don't know now, because like any black nerdy women or men, like if they're dealing with it. And I don't know, because like I said, it's so mainstream now. It's like everybody is watching anime or gaming and cosplay. Yeah. And it's like it's seen as cool and trendy now. But I would say back then in our day, yeah. So he can't really, to me, that comment he said, I'm just like, you're not a nerdy black woman, so you can't make that statement. That's just how I feel.
Yeah. So this was another point, and like I said, I'm skimming through it, not reading it in entirety. But we appreciate the input and feedback.
Right.
But they said most black women like the thug or thug facing aesthetic, then the attractive, nerdy ones seem to gravitate towards white men or YT men. So I guess he's saying that the nerdy black women, they are more attracted to thugs or to YT men. Really quirky black guys or thugs that watch anime. Keep in mind, it's not like I'm looking for baddies. I actively dislike that aesthetic. That's what all these guys say, but then y'all put these panting face emojis on these girls' pages.
That's what I'm saying.
So that's why all these girls are going to all these countries and sorry, but being unalived on the operating table just for a bigger butt so you guys will look at them.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
But if that's what you really feel or whatever, sir, okay. I better not see you on the internet with a girl that's got a BBL, because I'm going to come for you. Okay, sorry, let me finish reading that. I really just want a looks match. And this is the thing I have to say about this. So I guess he's saying that he wants to be with somebody that matches his aesthetic or whatever. But this is my thing. And they say that, okay, let me finish this, sorry. Guys like me that fit in this weird middle slot either have the choice of dating a black nerdy girl that physically we are attracted to. Why not? What about her is unattractive?
Right.
Or dating a white girl, YT girl slash Latina girl that we feel that we at least match in looks. Now I want to stop right there. Now this is the thing. Now he says that, but it's like, okay, so what about that? I'm not saying that you have to go with whomever, like you just because you're black that you have to date black women as a black man. I'm not saying that. But this is my thing. But you're saying that you predominantly, as far as looks, match with a YT girl or a Latina. What is it about them that you feel that you match with? Because um, a lot of times, and not always, but what I find is that a lot of times, and I'm not saying all, but some SOME, some black guys, they don't really appreciate black women in their natural state.
Hmm.
Prime example. How many of y'all like pop the balloon? There was this one guy on there, and people are entitled to whatever it is that they are they prefer. You know what I mean? Their preferences. But pretty much every black girl on the lineup that had like a short afro, he
4C to
yeah
be more
yeah
specific.
4C short 4C hair, he popped their balloons. Oh, I don't like short hair. I don't like short hair. I don't like short hair. And this is my thing. That's what he said when Arlette asked him, well, what was it that he didn't like about them?
Right.
But he ended up choosing, I think, a black girl, and it was obvious that it was like a weave or like a wig, and it was like long and straight and stuff like that. But he did not like any of the black girls that had afro textured hair, 4C hair. And like I said, people are entitled to their preferences, but I just think it's very telling when an individual, especially, uh, dismisses someone that looks just like them, has the same features, same hair texture as them, and they, especially for a dating show, you write them off.
Yeah.
I mean, it's perplexing to me, you know. But and that's the other thing. The other argument though is that a lot of black men will say for black women, "Oh, why don't you wear your natural hair? Why don't you do your hair more or
Right.
stop wearing wigs and weaves?" Well, this is the prime example of reasons why a lot of black women don't. Is because some some black men do not appreciate black women in their natural
They
state.
laugh at their hair, call them nappy headed,
Yeah,
and yeah, and it's like she says, some the natural hair that they like are the looser curls.
yeah,
They don't like the tight 4C hair. A lot of, I'm not gonna say all, but a lot of them don't. And the thing that's really weird about that is that most of the time they have 4C hair.
yeah.
They either have it cut down a low Caesar, or they have their hair in locks, or shoot, some of them even texturized it.
And I'm just like this, like, did you like forget that your hair looks the same exact way?
Exactly.
Like, what is happening here?
And then it's like, so some of the black women, because of that, they may be straightening their hair, flat iron it or with chemicals, or they are putting wigs and weaves that look like the hair that most of the black men, not all, but most of the black men like.
Exactly.
And that's why they're doing it.
But it's just like, once again, it's just like for black women, we're damned if we do, damned if we don't.
Exactly.
So it's just like, and to his point, as far as with he's saying that they will either go for the thug or a YT man. Um, and I would say, well, in that instance, maybe at that point they went where they were appreciated.
Right.
Maybe they weren't getting any play with the black men, and a YT man decided to give them some attention, and they're over there with them.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And I mean, hey, just like the black men, they date out. She dated out. That's her prerogative.
Right.
People are entitled and allowed to do whatever they want to do.
Right.
But
but going back to the argument,
yes.
The nerdy black men. Now, some of them be saying, I want a nerdy black woman. I can't find one. Well, sir, nerdy women are everywhere. And when he was talking, like at conventions, or shoot, you go out in public, you see, black women
They're
wearing, and
everywhere.
that's what I'm saying, wearing anime shirts, or if they're into Marvel and DC, like they're everywhere. So I'm just like, I find that hard to believe. It's just that you don't like the way they look.
And
That's
you
what,
pretty much just said
and
that.
that's what, right. Thank you.
You just said that. Well, I'm not attracted to them, and so the white tee or the Latina matches my look or my speed.
Yeah.
So it's not a matter of you can't find them. You don't like what's available.
Exactly.
So I think that's a you problem.
And that's the thing, because too, we were talking about off camera, um, just with this nerd spaces, blurred spaces, whatever you want to call it, fandom spaces. Um, like if you notice, DreamCon, most of the girls that they wanted to highlight and stuff, and I'm not saying all of them, but a lot of them had got OF pages. They're those e girls, whatever you want to call them, and a lot of them were, racially ambiguous, non-black and stuff like that, and those I know is like we were saying earlier, those are the type of girls that a lot of the blurred men want to, I guess put on a pedestal or shout out, try to holler at, and all sort of stuff. But then at the same breath, then they'll say that those types of girls, oh, well, they really ain't into anime like that. They really ain't into, comics like that, and they'll say that in the same breath. So it's like, what the world used to, and then it's like a nerdy black woman that they may not be attracted to, they'll, may talk to or something, then they're insecure because they're mad that she's more knowledgeable than them in anime or gaming or I'm just like, it's
you just can't win.
Exactly.
So it's like either we're the baddie who may not be as knowledgeable, or we're the nerdy black girl that you guys don't want, but we can talk circles around you regarding anime.
And then they'll sit there and say there's no attractive, nerdy. They'll say that because they feel insecure or mad because you're more knowledgeable of a fandom. That's something that I peeped out, and it's like too, just with the blur community, I also noticed they want like the eye candy, like for videos and things like that, or if they do like lives, interviews with these girls, but then they just want them as eye candy. They don't really want them saying anything. Just shut up and be cute. And then it's like if it's a woman on there that knows her stuff, you could tell they want her to shut up too. There's like, oh, she can't be more knowledgeable than me. That's something I noticed.
And it's just, you know, I don't like that, because either way, you're still like using women for content,
Right.
and views,
Mm-hmm.
which is not cool.
No.
You know. But yeah, did you have anything else you wanted to include on that?
No. If there's anything else you wanted, if there was anything else you wanted to read or anything else you wanted to add, I don't know. But yeah, guys, I'll probably screenshot this whole comment if y'all want to read it.
The last point that he wrote, I'm just gonna read. He said, "I think dudes end up being a bit jaded at this whole situation, and justifiably so. I was jaded for some time." So you low key admitted what we just said,
Right.
About, black men. Oh, I was teased. These women didn't find me attractive. So now you have a chip on your shoulder. And so now this is, you've had a little glow up, and now this is your get back.
Right.
So I'm gonna go and date or find all the other women, and black women just
yeah, they always say, "Well, I was teased." They was, and my thing is, we all was teased or picked on. You know what I'm saying? And you can't sit there. It's like we were saying before in the first video. Go get some therapy.
Yes.
And my thing is like, come on now. Like back then, kids, you're immature. Shoot, some people in their adulthood are immature, but you never know. Those girls back then, they probably had a crush on them, and they didn't know how to tell them. Seriously.
And back in those days, we used to say they had cooties. Like, oh, they have cooties.
But I'm just, but middle and high school, I'm like, I assume that's probably what he's talking about. Yeah. But I'm like, they probably had a crush on them. Yeah. Like you said, didn't know how to express it and tell them.
So it wasn't a thing of they didn't find you desirable or you found you unattractive. They did. They just didn't have the maturity to express it.
Right.
But yeah. Okay, so he said, though that jadedness just comes from a lack of self image and confidence issues. When you realize this ish is bigger than just you, then it's easier to have a better mindset and emotions behind it. And, with that, I mean, I can kind of agree to some of what he's saying, but at the same time, it's like, but have you really moved on from it?
I don't
If
think
you
so.
have the mindset that black women are not attracted to me, I can't find black women.
No,
I don't
I
I,
don't think
I don't
so.
think so. So once again, therapy.
Yes.
And I would say, just, everybody needs therapy because we all have experienced some kind of trauma in our life,
Right.
you know? So, and it doesn't have to be a thing of, you're bullied and, you have cut off a certain demographic of women and,
Right.
therapy is good for all kinds of things because we
Right.
all have coping mechanisms that we use to get through difficult times and challenges,
Right.
but it depends on whether or not those coping mechanisms are, destructive, you know.
Right.
So, yeah.
Yeah. So that was our take on this. Um, I mean, he like Chrissy said, he shared some interesting things, and then like we were saying earlier, some things we were just like, I don't agree with that.
I don't agree with that home slice.
But I think it triggered something. I mean, because he wrote 7 paragraphs, so
Mm-hmm.
yeah. But that's just our take on it. So, was there anything else you wanted to add, or
No, and we appreciate any feedback that
yeah, we
anybody
do.
provides. And once again, this is not any kind of hate or issuing
No,
out, but just it encouraged or motivated us to get on here and to delve into the topic deeper.
yeah.
That's it.
So, with that, we're going to end this live. And if you guys want to share your thoughts and comments, after this live is posted, please do. But keep it respectful. And until next time,
Bye.
bye. Okay, this time it worked.